Hello, good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, Ghana National Petroleum Corporation GNPC and its exploration subsidiary Explorco advanced plans to drill 2 new exploration wells by the end of the third quarter of 2026.
National Oil Company GNPC, together with Shell and other partners, are renegotiating the liquefied natural gas sale and purchase agreement to ensure that imported LNG can be delivered into Ghana within the next 18 months.
What does this mean for Ghana's energy future? We shall be discussing that shortly. Also in this bulletin, some oil marketing companies defer expected fuel price increase as they monitor competition to provide guide adjustment. Plus, Ghana Hotels Association set to meet the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission tomorrow over the proposed increase in tariffs.
PURC has invited us for a stakeholder engagement tomorrow.
Wow.
To discuss the proposed tariff hikes.
We have details of these and more lined up for you in the next 30 minutes. Please stay on. Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojobaka, and we want to begin from the upstream sector because President John Mahama has disclosed that the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation GNPC and its exploration firm Explorco are making progress towards drilling 2 new exploration wells before the close of the third quarter of 2026. Delivering an address at the Africa Oil Week in Accra, he emphasized his government's readiness to collaborate with both current and potential investors to boost exploration activities offshore and onshore.
A National Oil Company, GNPC, together with Shell and other partners, are renegotiating the liquefied natural gas sale and purchase agreement to ensure that imported LNG can be delivered into Ghana within the next 18 months. This will end our reliance on expensive liquid fuels as backup for domestic gas, thereby strengthening energy security and lowering our energy costs. At the same time, the government is implementing an accelerated plan for developing its gas infrastructure. This includes investment in pipelines, new processing plants, and storage systems to guarantee sustainable evacuation of gas from our production fields to the market. These initiatives will open up significant opportunities for private investment and strategic partnerships. In the downstream, Ghana's vision is to transform into a regional petroleum hub, and our primary focus is to ensure that we anchor our energy reliability and security through a gas-to-power policy, which seeks to ensure that natural gas becomes the primary source of fuel for our thermal plants. We're also pursuing policies to develop the country's petrochemical petroleum mooring systems and pipeline facilities, in addition to oil and gas refineries. These downstream initiatives are designed not only to enhance our value addition, but also to position Ghana as a hub for petroleum and energy-based industrialization in West Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me be quick to state that we're equally conscious that the future of energy lies in a balanced transition. Ghana is committed to pursuing oil and gas development alongside renewable energy investments, ensuring that no citizen is left behind in the global shift towards cleaner energy technologies.
Interesting revelations there. Let's elevate the conversation further. Joining us via Zoom is the technical advisor at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. Thank you so much, sir, for making time to join us here on Business Life, and good to see you. Now, what would you say the drilling of these two new exploration wells on the Voltian Basin mean for the oil and gas sector, even though we know that this, of course, will, to some larger extent, be of great benefit to Ghana's energy future?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Pius. Good evening to you and to your cherished listeners in Ghana and across the globe. Yeah, that's a very excellent news. Of course, if you notice, the Voltian Basin is our trump card, if I may put it that way. Yes, we have partnerships with ENI, we have partnership with Talo, partnership that has highly reinvigorated thanks to the forthrightness in the leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, where the upstream players, they have gathered momentum, they have gathered their courage back, and they are reinvesting back to to our upstream space, and that has brought a lot of vibrancy. And so Voltian Basin, Pius, is a huge potential for us in Ghana. It covers almost like 40% of the entire country. That's what Voltian Basin has. But what is critical is that what GMPC is seeking to do now by third quarter of 2026 is to test the data that they have by drilling an exploration well. And what exploration well will do, it will de-risk the field. And that's even the opportunity where others will try to come in and partner with us. And so for GMPC and the partners at Petroleum Commission, supported by the Minister of Energy, to champion this cause in going forward to drill such an excellent well or such an excellent thing, to pave way for the production stage to come in record time. And bear in mind, if you don't explore, you can't produce. The word is EMP, exploration and production. So one will explore by drilling these wells, and they prove reasonably, and the reserves are okay. We're going to go forward to do the drilling. And I can say that I'm very confident with the data that GMPC is having. And while the drilling is done, I think it will be a game changer within our energy space, especially the upstream.
And how confident are you that by the end of the third quarter of 2026, we will be able to do this?
Yeah, so with the data that I know GMPC has, I'm highly confident and optimistic, all things being equal, that they'll be able to do that. And especially with the support that they are getting from the sector minister, John Jinapo. He's been so supportive in this cause. And so with all this support base from Petroleum Commission, and then even the data that GMPC is having at the moment, I think it looks very credible. And from now up to that time, I'm very certain that we're going to have something very good that we can churn out. And watch out, once we drill these exploration wells and they're proven to have substantial reserves, you will see that they only say that the meat will only drag the vultures to the game. You will see the players, they will want to come back. But the good thing is they want to do it on our own grounds, in terms of our own capability, without anybody's support. And I think our guys are capable of doing that, Pius. And I'm very optimistic of that, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the signal this sends to the investor community in Ghana's upstream sector largely.
Yeah, so largely, especially if after what that happened, it will just add to the momentum. Like I mentioned, if you notice, within the upstream, we had been in a state that I call inertia for almost, let's say, for a couple of years. Thankfully, when this regime came to power, President Mahama was forthright. He was straightforward with the upstream player, especially ENI, and then the Talo. And that kind of enabling environment that is created, I mean, it has brought a lot of momentum back to the space. So this will only add to the already vibrant environment that we are enjoying at the upstream, Pius. And it will also de-risk the area after these wells are drilled, and more investors are likely to come to partner, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the gas processing plant, GPP2, as we know it, which of course you are spearheading. Where are we with it, and what do you think we can do more to achieve this completion timeline we have, basically?
Yeah, so if you notice, the president mentioned, apart from GMPC, he clearly mentioned that to achieve energy security, we need to build our gas infrastructure, and that includes processing plants and pipelines. And Pius, that is where our energy security lies. Remember, we heavily dependent on importation of liquid-based fuel, especially whenever we had shortfalls, either from Atuabo Ghana gas going down, West African gas pipeline having failed, or any of the gas conduit. So if you have a second gas processing plant, it will come as a buffer, so that when the first one is going down, we don't need to struggle or find ourselves wanting. And even with the gas that is coming on stream, it's going to increase our portfolio. We're going to stop flaring. We're going to increase we could double the capacity of our gas production. I can tell you, if we do this and we have the interconnection of pipeline that we are talking about again, let's say a pipeline from Takoradi to Tema, which is almost at a point where we'll be awarding it, out for work to start on it. We also are thinking about a pipeline from Tema to Kumasi. And so if you do that triangle and complement that with a GPP too, I think we'll send our energy security to a level that Ghana will be highly independent. Independent so far as our energy security requirement is concerned. And we stand a chance of even exporting gas into the West African gas pipeline if you manage to do all this infrastructure, Pius.
So you can confirm to me progress has been made with regards to the, the storage facility construction, of course, pipeline construction, etc.
Yeah. So for the GPP2, of course, you remember the committee was set up and we came out with a report that was sent to the ministerial committee. Now we are in the process of implementing the recommendation, the roadmap. And so, yes, that's where we've gone with respect to the GPP2. So it's on course, and we are on course to achieving the timelines. With respect to the pipeline projects, like I mentioned, we are still in the process, but plans are far advanced, to get them to a point where we can award them to competitive bidders to come and do the construction, Pius.
Technical advisor to the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, thank you so much for making time to speak to us here on Business Live. Grateful, always a delight speaking to you. Now, some of the major oil marketing companies say they will defer the expected increase in fuel prices to later this week. We have more for you in this report.
The move has been influenced by the fact that some of the major oil marketing companies want to monitor competition a little bit before they react. This is because they don't want to move so high or to a certain level for them to be beaten by another major oil marketing company. Recent data has shown that price has become a major factor when it comes to product purchase by consumers. That is why most of these firms are not rushing to increase prices today. Some of the major oil marketing companies have told Joy Business that they want to clear the current fuel stocks in the system, but at the old price before they start charging consumers on the new price. Based on data from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, petrol should be increased by almost 6% per litre. Diesel, on the other hand, could be up by as much as 4.32% per litre. The Chamber of the Oil Marketing Companies in its report actually revealed that if it hadn't been the city's recent depreciation, the consumers would have actually witnessed some reduction in prices at the pumps this week.
Let's hear from the West Africa Regional Director of CAS International, Apiakusi Adumako. He joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us here on Business Live. And looking at the stance taken by these OMCs when it comes to publishing their prices, do you think it is the more reason why we need to pass the competition law?
Okay. Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. I think the market, as we are seeing now, is showing a sign of a fierce competition between the players. Normally, anytime window price or fuel prices are announced, you realize that the very evening they come up with the very morning, you see the new pump prices coming. But here, it's become more like a game theory, a playing of game. So this company is waiting to see the move of the other before they take a step. And so the liberalization of the petroleum, of the downstream sector has resulted in some level of competition. And I think that we still need to have competition law to also ensure that the players in the industry do not gang up and become cartels. I'm uncomfortable when I hear the group association, the COMAC, telling that the prices will be up by this. I think that COMAC should leave the decision. COMAC should leave the decision to as to how much the prices of the product will be to individual members. Some may want to even increase it by 3%. Others may decide to even absorb the prices. So when the association comes to tell the price, I think now the problem is not about the members, but the way COMAC is always suggesting the range at which the prices to be. Let's leave the market players to determine how much they want to sell it based upon the formulas and the input cost.
To be fair to COMAC, COMAC's prediction whatsoever it is, it's more or less a projection they are making, not necessarily imposed on the OMCs to comply with. So you get to see that some of the OMCs do not necessarily have to comply with the projected price quotes by COMAC.
We have a lot of chambers. We have chamber of cement manufacturers. We have chamber of telecom, and you don't hear the PR or the CEO talking about the prices that will happen even after. I think that we should stay away from announcing price. Let the individual players announce how much they want to sell their product. And if the consumer, you go, maybe what the COMAC can do is that COMAC, after the members have announce their prices, COMAC can then provide a chart and list them and allow consumers to decide where to go. COMAC saying that the prices will go up between 5 to 7%, and I think that it's wrong. So let's assume that even at the days that we're getting reduction in the tariff, and then when you work it out, it should be 10%. And COMAC comes to say that, let's say it's 5 to 7%, means that COMAC is trying to do the bidding of the. I'm sure they are not doing that, but I think that in a fair market, the association should not be deciding prices. They should not be talking about prices. Let the individual player decide how much they want to sell their products.
All right, let me understand this from you. How can this competition be replicated in other areas like you are advocating for when it comes to the competition law?
So for us to have competition in the market, there must be multiple players. So when we have multiple players, then that alone, that market forces. Let's take, for example, in the pay TV market, we only have multi-choice. And someone will say that we have Star Times. But Star Time is not pulling its weight because Star Time lacks the essential content that people want. So when you're looking for pay TV in Ghana, it's all about DSTV. And so you don't see competition. If there were competition in the sector, in the pay TV market, I'm not sure that the minister would have urged multi-choice to reduce their prices. So we need to remove entry barriers to allow more firms to come and compete in the market. And that is how we can see competition in the market. Beyond that, we also need to ensure that the competition law comes in place to also guide against corporate conduct like price fixing, abuse of dominance, cartels, and other things. Sometimes we may have multiple players, but yet they may form association cartels to just fix prices, just that consumers will not get the best out of the market forces.
All right. Apia Kusadumaku, thank you so much for your time this very moment. He is the... All right, so Apia Kusadumaku there speaking to us on Business Live, Regional Director of CAS International West Africa. I'm grateful. Now, meanwhile, Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, Duncan Amoah, is urging government to find a sustainable way to address the consistent increase in prices of petroleum products at the pumps. According to him, the recent adjustments in prices could force transport operators to increase transport fares, a move he says would be justified under the circumstance.
I agree with those who hold the view that when we went down, the city went to about 10, 10.4, 10.5. The market didn't go that low as far as the $1, 1 liter unspoken rule is concerned. So maybe they could also hold a bit for this window. That's what we've been saying all along. Again, As to whether we'll be in for a bad run in the coming days, I wouldn't have the answers yet, but I think that as a country, there's the need for planning. You cannot continue to have a situation where strategic fuel or strategic reserves continues to be 0 liters as of this day. Something ought to be planned so that even when you wake up to international market pressures or the cedi depreciating further, government could step in at some point and say, look, I have enough in stock already. You may not need to pass on these adjustments to the public. The public transport operators clearly, if you don't do anything about these upward adjustments, you are simply inviting them to, like you rightly put it, also increase their fares. And at that point, I don't think that it would be fair on any of us to call them to stay their prices, because their cost of operations would simply have been impacted by these increases that we are probably witnessing at this point, Darrell.
Still watching Business Live. Let's now pause for a breather. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr., has disclosed plans to meet the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission tomorrow over the proposed increase in tariffs. Speaking to Joy Business, he noted that this meeting will provide an avenue for players to address concerns and chart a favorable way to cushion consumers.
Let me put on record that the PURC has invited us for a stakeholder engagement tomorrow.
Wow.
To discuss the proposed tariff hikes. So for now, we are trying to wrap our heads around this humongous tariff hikes.
What are your arguments going into that meeting?
A number of them. First of all, we believe, as an association, we believe that there's some unfairness in this hikes, especially to do with water when the excuse or reason is given related to galamsey. We believe that we have a social contract with government to protect our environment, to protect our water bodies. So if that is not being done, and the cost of that is going to be pushed to the consumers, it is very unfair. And for me, that's the beginning point of our argument. Now, secondly, we believe that the PURC instituted a quarterly review of the utility tariffs. What has changed? We've not been given any reason. This is a multi-year tariff adjustment from 2025 to 2029. What is informing that? I hope we'll get some answers tomorrow, because once you look at that long stretch, then you'll be able to find reason to give these huge tariff hikes that you're talking about.
And right about now, I'd like to connect you to myjoyonline.com/business for all the business stories you need to know here in Ghana and beyond. Let's get some read quickly. Cedi to record modest stability this week. $1 going for 13 cedi 60 pesos. Also on the portal, GNPC explore code to drill 2 new exploration wells by Q3 2026. That's according to President John Mahama. And we have more stories for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am grateful for your company. I am Pius Kojobaka.